Pu means punya, and Ja means japa. Punya means the highest merit, and japa means to give birth. The actions which give birth to the highest merit is puja. But we have a lot of words like that in Sanskrit. Kri means do, and pa means get. And kripa, what we call grace, is what you do is what you get. So you will get the fruit of your karma. And our karma is puja, giving birth to the highest merit. And in our tradition, the highest merit is the privilege to sit in the presence of God. So that's what this whole story is about. So let's talk about the Pradhanikam Rahasya. It's the first of the secrets. It's the most preeminent. It's the first and foremost. And I'll skip the Bhumika. And I just want to, the king said, Lord, you have explained to me the manifestations of the energy that tears apart thought. Chand means to tear. Chandi, she tears, and she tears apart the duality. She tears with She tears apart the thoughts that keep us from being in the center of our being. When we're in Ekram Chit, in one absorbed, submerged consciousness, there's no duality, so she tears apart the duality. She tears apart the thoughts which give birth. Every cogito ergo sum, I think, therefore I am, and therefore, if you stop thinking, you can just be one with the universe. So that's our goal in this process, is to tear about, first, all the negativity. Second, all the ego. And then automatically all the attachments dissolve, so that along with the dissolution of ego and attachment is the dissolving all the ripus, Kam, Krodh, Lodh, Moh, Mudra, and Matsarja. The six enemies that keep us, these generals in the army of Mahishasura. So the king said, Lord, and he's talking to Markandeya, he said, you have explained to me the manifestations of that the energy that tears apart thought. O knower of wisdom, now please describe the principal characteristics of their nature. O twice born, he's Dvija. Markandeya is Dvija. He's born twice, one from his mom and the other from the womb of wisdom. And that's what a Dvija is. We call them Brahmins, but they're not all really born from the womb of wisdom. Some of them just wear a string around their ear, and they call that good. That's why their claim to fame or claim to knowledge. So he's twice born, I bow to you. And look at the humility of a student who wants to learn. I bow to you, Lord. Please tell me which intrinsic natures are to be worshipped and by which systems of worship they will be pleased. What are the manifestations to be worshipped, and how do you do it? And the Rishi said, O king, this secret is extremely esoteric, and it is said that it should not be readily divulged. But you are devoted to me, and I find no cause not to tell you all, especially you have created this beautiful temple. I mean, that's evidence of the purity of your clarity and the sincerity of your devotion. So there's no reason you shouldn't know what you're doing in this temple and why you're doing it. In fact, I want you to know. I think it's important for you to know, because the more you know, the more you understand, the more you can pay attention, the more you love. When I love something, I pay attention to it. In fact, that's the only way you can show your love, is by paying attention. And I was just talking with Bharat, when we learn something, we pay attention. When we love someone, we pay attention, and we learn more. By paying attention to them, we learn where am I going to take you for dinner? What movie would you like to see? What kind of flowers should I bring you? Well, I'm going to do that in a physical relationship, wouldn't I do it in a more important relationship? When I respect someone, I pay even greater attention. And when I worship, I pay even more attention. So all of this upasana, asana, sitting close and closer and closer, asana, this worship that we're doing is all about paying attention. How do I cultivate that attention? How do I cultivate the love affair? How do I really demonstrate to you the sincerity of my love? You are devoted to me, and I think you better learn this too. All of you. The Supreme Sovereign, the great goddess of true wealth, who is comprised of the three qualities, is the first and foremost of all causes. That's Mahalakshmi in the center, in the second row. Sarvas Adya Mahalakshmi Triguna Parameshwari. Lakshya Alaksha Swarupasa Vyaptam Krishnam Vyapastita. And she made all of this individual phenomena come out of her. Her intrinsic nature is both definable, laksha, alaksha, and having distinguished all the individual phenomena of the universe she resides within. She holds in her hands a pomegranate, symbolizing the unity of creation, the club, the shield, and a drinking vessel with which she consumes the nectar of devotion that we're offering to her. And on her uppermost part, she bears the snake and a lingam, which unites the male principle consciousness and the female principle energy. And we're going to get this all throughout every translation of every scripture and all the forms that we have. The Shiva Lingam is the male and the female principle. All of them they are containers of consciousness. Or even the goddesses are containers of consciousness. And they embody the consciousness. They are the Mahamaya. They are the limitation or the measurement of the consciousness. They are the form of consciousness. They make consciousness perceptible. If it weren't for form, consciousness would be infinite. So they give it a form and a limitation. They put boundaries around it so that we can see it, have a relationship with it. So seeing the entire nothingness, the Supreme Sovereign by the quality of darkness, Mahakali assumed another excellent form. So out of Mahalakshmi in the second row came Mahakali. And that form became a beautiful woman whose radiant body was black like soot. Her finely shaped mouth had large protruding teeth. Her eyes were large and her waist thin. She obviously didn't discover her mother's kitchen. She still had a thin waist, not like the rest of us sadhus. In her forearms, in her forehands, she displayed the sword, the drinking cup, a severed head, and a shield with the decapitated body parts forming a necklace, and a garland of skulls worn over her head. So you see that a head that she's severed and she's holding in her hand there, and as long as that head stays in her hand right behind Ramakrishna's head, you see it, come closer, come closer. You don't have to stay way back. Then I have nothing to worry about. She takes away the ego, she takes away the attachments, and she cuts off his head. She's got that head in her hands, and as long as she has that head in her hands, it's really a nice place to be here. As soon as she lets go, I've got problems. I got so much to deal with. So the object of our upasana, the object of our worship, is to put our head in Kali's hand. And she makes the Mundamala, the garland of skulls, because she takes away all of our limitations, all our ripus. She doesn't just cut, she takes them all to herself, all our karma, all our negativities, all our kam, krodh, lobh, moh, moda, matsarya. She takes it all. And then the great goddess of true wealth said to the excellent lady of darkness, I give to you your names and the various actions that you perform. The great measurement of consciousness, your Kali, your nature dancing on the stage of consciousness. That's the idea of Kali standing on Shiva's chest. She dances and he watches. The great measurement of consciousness, the great remover of darkness. That's why she's dark. She's got all our darkness. You just gave her your darkness, you gave her your ripus, you gave her your limitations, you gave her your negativities, and ultimately you'll give her your ego. The great destroyer, hunger and thirst, sleep, desire, solely attentive to the battle, the dark night, the impassible. These are your names indicative of the actions that you perform. That's just what she's there. That's why we called her. Hey, you dark one, come and get darker by taking my darkness to yourself. Put your mundamala there and take away all my ripus, take away all my limitations, take away all my ego and attachment, take away my aham. One who knows your activity by meditating upon these names attains the highest happiness. Sanchit Ananda. That's the greatest happiness. Not to be here. At least as a little me. I could be here as Shivo Aham Brahmashmi. I'm still here. Actually, the goal is not to get rid of the ego. The goal is to expand the ego until we become the greatest egotist of all. Aham Brahmashmi. Shiva. I am Shiva. This entire prapanch, this all that you see is the reflection of me. It's the form of me. O king, thus having spoken, the great goddess of true wealth, that's Mahalakshmi in the center, by means of her extremely pure quality of light, assumed another form with radiant luster like the moon. And this supreme woman held in her hands a rosary of alphabets, or akshamala, the curved sword, the lute, or veena, and a book, and she too was given names Mahavidya, Mahabani, Bharati, Bak, Saraswati, Arya Brahmi, Kamadenur, Vedagarbha, Chadiswari. The great knowledge, the great vibration, the light of wisdom, sound, the spirit of all-pervading knowledge, she who purifies with wisdom, creative energy, the cow who fulfills all desires, the womb of wisdom, and the Lord of the mind. She is all vibrations, Saraswati. So, Sarvasadya Mahalakshmi, she was first and foremost, by her darkness, she became Tamoguna. By her light, she became Rajguna. And then the great goddess of true wealth said to the great remover of darkness, so Lakshmi said to Kali, and to the spirit of all-pervading knowledge, to Saraswati, to both girls. She said, hey, goddesses, you both produce pairs, male and female, according to your natures. Make a pair to continue the creation. Thus, having instructed them, the great goddess of true wealth first produced her own pair, a male and a female of beautiful appearance, seated upon the lotus seat, having come forth from the golden womb, the first spark of creation known as the Bindu. So she made the Bindu, and then the mother, the great goddess of true wealth, said to the male, knower of consciousness, systematic worship, shining one, creator, you are Brahma. And so behind Lakshmi, in the center, is Brahma. And again she said to the female, over there on the right-hand side with Vishnu, you are ultimate prosperity, lotus blossom, goddess of wealth, and in this way gave their names. And the great remover of darkness and the light of wisdom, that's Kali and Saraswati, also produced pairs. I'm telling you their names and forms. The great remover of darkness gave birth to a male who had a blue throat, red arms, a white body, who wore a digit of the moon on his forehead. Nilakantam Rathabahum Shwetangan Chandrasekaram. That's Shiva. There he is, with 5 faces. And she said to the white female, he is known as the reliever of suffering, Rudra, the cause of peace, Shankar, the permanent resident, Shanu, of matted head, Kapardi, and with 3 eyes, Trilochan. And the female is called Tri, the 3. Knowledge, Vidya, Kamadenu, the fulfilling, who fulfills desires, language, letters, and melody. So, Mahakali gave birth to Shiva and Saraswati. O king, the spirit of all-pervading knowledge, Saraswati, brought forth a female of bright color and also a male who is dark, and I'm telling you their names. Vishnu, Krishna, Rishikesha, Vasudeva, Janardana. She gave the names of consciousness that pervades all, the doer of all, the ruler of the senses, the God of true wealth, and the Lord of existence apply to the male, and the nourishing mother, she who is rays of light, truth, energy that tears apart thought, the beautiful, excellent fortune, and the energy of infinite goodness applied to the female. In this way, the 3 young ladies immediately gave the form to the males. I mean, without the girls, where would the boys be? And this fact, those who see with the eye of wisdom may understand. Other uninitiated people may not understand the esoteric meaning of this secret. And what I understand myself personally is that without the energy, consciousness has nothing to perceive. There's only infinite consciousness infinitely. And when energy produces a form, and consciousness takes birth. And this way, the 3 gunas produce the creator, the protector, and the transformer of the universe. And also the 3 girls, Lakshmi, Mahasaraswati, and Gauri, Durga, and Uma, Parvati. She has many names. O king, the great goddess of true wealth, gave the spirit of all-pervading knowledge to the creative capacity as a wife. So, Mahalakshmi gave Brahma and Saraswati in marriage. And they moved into Lakshmi's house. So that's why Brahma and Saraswati are behind Mahalakshmi. And to the reliever of suffering she gave she who is rays of light. So Gauri married Shiva. And they moved into the house of Kali. And to the Lord of true wealth she gave the ultimate prosperity. She gave Lakshmi to Vishnu. And they moved into Saraswati's house. And thus the creative capacity with his wife, the spirit of all-pervading knowledge, that's Brahma and Saraswati, gave birth to the cosmic egg, this Vishwa Brahman. And the reliever of suffering, that's Shiva, along with his wife, Gauri, or she who is rays of life, pierced the egg and caused it to crack. O king, within the egg were all the primary products, the capacity of the 5 elements to unite this prapanch. Kshiti, Tej, Morubom. All the 5 elements, earth, water, fire, air, and ether, they united. In the process we'll study later when we get to the Devi Gita, it's called Panchkritya. And this Panchkritya, it shows how the 5 elements unite to make forms. And the forms are perceived by consciousness. And that's why we have individual forms in the creation. And all this existence of movable and immovable forms came to be. And then the goddess of true wealth, along with the consciousness that pervades all, that's Lakshmi and Vishnu, began to protect and to nourish creation. And at the appointed time, the great Lord with his wife, she who is rays of light, that's Shiva, Mahadev, the great Lord, Mahadev, and Gauri, she who is rays of light, and they will cause its dissolution. They're going to change everything from what it is into what it's going to become. And at that instant, Brahma gives a new creation. And Vishnu gives a new circumstance. And Shiva makes it change again. Aim, ring, clean. Chamundaya Diviche. Yes, please.
So it's interesting that Brahma and Saraswati made the cosmic egg, but Shiva and Gauri still had to crack it for creation to take
Absolutely.
place.
Uh-huh.
So normally
They caused the transformation. So just because Brahma and Saraswati laid an egg, you still need Shiva to come and make the egg break open. And then within the egg is the prapanch, all that is, all that comes to be from all the possibilities of matter to unite. And Vishnu is the circumstance that protects it. O great king, the great goddess of true wealth, that's Mahalakshmi, is the ruler of all truth and the quality of light. She is the inconceivable, formless, and again she is with form and is known by many names. Only her attributes can be named, and yet she cannot be explained by only one name. She is the Laksh. She's the definition. She's the aim. She's the goal. Laksh is goal. And Mahalakshmi is the great goal, the great aim, the great definition, the form of Sat. Om. Let's see if there are any questions about the Pradhanika Rahasya. This is the second row, and that's the third row. Now the first row we're just going to discuss now because this is the gross body, and the first row. And the second row is a subtle body, and the third row is a causal body. So we have Brahma and Saraswati creating, Vishnu and Lakshmi protecting, Shiva and Gauri transforming the three gunas, Mahakali, Mahalakshmi, Mahasaraswati. Sapta is Mahalakshmi. She is being, pure existence as it is. And Rajas is Mahalakshmi. She's Mahasaraswati. She's Icha Shakti. She's the energy of knowledge. And Tamas is Mahakali. That she takes all the darkness away. Yes, please.
Namaste, Swami. Why does Mahakali go from having 10 organs of action and knowledge to the second level Kali has only one head?
We're going to talk about this in this next chapter. Yes, please.
how come the subtle gives birth to the causal? Or why does the subtle come first in existence and the causal comes second?
Because in the causal body there is nothing that can be named. And so we can only name the subtle body. Subtle body is also, it only exists as the idea. So Sarvas Adya Mahalakshmi, the first and foremost is the subtle, the idea of pure subtle, pure existence. And then becomes rest and becoming. So she is pure being. Mahalakshmi is pure being, Mahasaraswati is becoming, and Mahakali is rest. So first you have pure being in rest, and then it begins to become. Another definition of Sattva Raja Tamo is being, becoming, and rest. So that's the first that is definable. Before being becoming, and rest. There's nothing definable. Sada, it's all inexplicable. There's no word. There's no vibration. There's no distinction. There's nothing by which we can distinguish the individual phenomena of the entire creation. It's just infinite consciousness. Was there another question? Yes, please, come.
Swami, can you explain why do you call this a secret? And is it a secret to some and not to others, or is it a process of evolution of your own consciousness?
It's a process of evolution of your own consciousness, and it is deeply hidden, very secret place. You have to go deeply inside in order to understand it. You can't just listen to it. They're not just words. It's a way, it's an attitude of life. It's really effective as an attitude towards your being. What is your true nature? What is your pure being? And how do you go find it? And that's why it's secret, because you gotta go in your heart to find it. You gotta go really deep beyond your thoughts to understand it, to see the screen upon which all the movies are being played. And that's the secret. It's not a secret like, psst, don't tell anybody. It's like, it's a secret like, hey, it's a mystery. Because it's so mysterious. Mysterium fidei. It is the supreme, divine mystery. Let's talk about the front row, and then we'll get into a little bit to the puja. We won't keep you all night. Triguna tamasi devi satviki tridodita. The goddess who is composed of the three qualities, predominant in light, yet differentiated as darkness, etc., is spoken of as the energy that slays with arrows, the energy that tears apart thought, the reliever of difficulties, the excellent one, the possessor of wealth. She has the three qualities, so she's all the names. Every name of every form of everything in existence is a name of her. It's really hard to call her by any other name. She is of the quality of darkness, who held the consciousness that pervades all in the mystic sleep of divine union, who is praised by the creative capacity for the purpose of slaying too much and too little. She is called the great remover of darkness. This is Mahakali. Now, remember, Vishnu was in sleep, and Brahma came out of the lotus of his navel, and Madhukoitu came, and they, too much and too little said, hey. Too little said, you don't have enough. Get up and get some more. Go to the store. Get a job. Get some money. Go do something. And too much said, hey, wait a minute. You've got too much. You got to take out the garbage. Better take out the recycling. Better do the compost. Better do that. You got too much. You got to get a haircut. You got to do something. And too much and too little were keeping us in the sphere of activity. We never had the right amount. In fact, we only had the right amount for an instant. And then we forgot and went on to the next project. In fact, we even forgot what's the right amount for what. And Dashabhatra, Dashabhuja, Dashapanlanjana Prabha. She has 10 faces because she sees in 10 directions at the same time. She has 10 arms because she has 5 organs of action, 5 organs of knowledge. She has 10 feet because she dances like crazy. Everything we see is Mother Kali, the goddess of nature, Mother Nature, dancing on the stage of consciousness. Every form. Her immense body is dark and shining brilliantly like collyrium. Her 30 eyes, that's 3 eyes in each of 10 heads, are large and of equal proportion. O protector of the earth, her teeth and fangs are shining, making her form frightful, and yet that form is as beautiful as lustrous beauty enhanced by love, for she establishes the great prosperity. The greatest prosperity is when you can give your head to her and she cuts it off and takes it, holds it there and doesn't give it back to you. And if she gives it back to you, you didn't succeed. So I sit here as long as I can and keep looking at her holding my head and keep praying that she won't give it back. This is the energy of the consciousness that pervades all, the measurement of the all-pervading consciousness, the incomparably great remover of darkness. Pleased by worship and meditation, she awards to aspirants domination over all that moves and moves not. Chara-cha. You get to choose. What do I want to interact with? What's important to me? What is my luxury? The great goddess of true wealth came forth, shining from the bodies of all the gods, bearing the 3 qualities of nature. She is the actual slayer of the great ego. She is the ultimate Lakshya. Just to give her the ego. So out of the darkness comes forth the light. In fact, we would never know the light if there weren't darkness. That's the only way we can know the light. Is because of the darkness. She's bearing the 3 qualities of nature. She is the actually slayer of the great ego. Her face is light, her arms are blue, her breast area is extremely white, her middle part of her body is red, the feet are red, and her shanks and thighs are blue. Did you see her before she got dressed? That's how she painted. She's actually a very colorful lady. Her hips are beautiful and attractive. Of varied hues are her garlands, her cloth, her ornaments. Unguents are smeared upon her body. She is the form of beauty enhanced by love. And Kanti is a lot different from Sundar. Huh? Kanti is, my relationship makes it even more beautiful. That love affair that I'm having makes beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. Sundar is, okay, she's nice. She's maybe a 10. But Kanti, she's off the charts. she can't be measured. My relationship with her makes it even more beautiful. And she reflects all auspiciousness. Even though she has 1,000 arms, I've never made a murti with 1,000 arms. It's too difficult. She should be worshipped with 18 hands. So we make her with 18 hands. Mahishashurmardini. The weapons she holds are enumerated in order from beginning to the lower right. We took them off and put them with the flowers instead. The rosary of alphabets, the akshamala, a lotus, an arrow, a sword, lightning, club, discus, trident, a battle axe, a conch bell, net, energy, staff, shield, bow, a drinking vessel, and the bowl of renunciation. And we'll talk about the meaning and the symbolism of each astra, shastra, as we get deeper into the text. Each one of them has a special place in our sum. And they will take more meaning as we sit longer and get deeper into the understanding of what is our goal and how are we proposing to go about accomplishing that goal, and how is this Upasana going to help us do that. And that's why we use this symbolism. O king, she is composed of all the gods. She is the ruler of the gods. Who worships this great goddess of true wealth becomes master of all the worlds and of the gods. The actual spirit of all-pervading knowledge has manifested from the body of she who is rays of light. She is the repository of the true quality of truth. It is she who slew the manifestation of ego known as self-conceit. Remember, Shuv meets to shine, and Shubha means I make myself to shine, and ni means viparit, the opposite, I put out my light, or we call them self-conceit and self-deprecation. And self-conceit is all haughty and puffed up with pride and says, I don't have to listen to you, I know, and I'm gonna do it my way, and it's my way or the highway. And self-deprecation says, poor me, I was abused, I was confused, I was bemused, I had problems, I never get it right, buka me, I never do it right. And she is the one who slew self-conceit and self-deprecation until there was only self. Not me aggrandizing myself and blowing up, puffed up with ego and a hum, and not poor me. I'm so small. I have reasons. There's excuses why I'm this way. Neither. Just aham. Not aham bara, not aham choke. Just aham. Whoever will worship her with devotion will attain all wisdom. O king, the intrinsic nature of these embodiments has been described. Now understand how to continually meditate upon the Mother of the Universe in these forms. When the great goddess of true wealth is to be worshipped, she should be established in the center with the remover of darkness to her right, that's Kali on her right, and the great spirit of all-pervading knowledge, that's Mahasaraswati, on to her left. And directly behind them, the three pairs should be worshipped as follows. Shining One Brahma and Melody Saraswati in the middle. The reliever of sufferings and she who is rays of light on her right. That's that side. And on her left, prosperity and ruler of the senses, Vishnu and Lakshmi. In front, the goddesses should be worshipped. In the center, the 18-handed one. On her right, the one with 10 faces, that's Mahakali, and on her left, the 8-handed one, and that's Mahasaraswati. And that's where this description of this altar comes from. O king of men, when only the 18-handed goddess is worshipped, or only the 10-faced, or only the 8-handed, then for the removal of all obstacles on the right side, time should be worshipped, and on the left side, death. Or when the 8-handed slayer of self-conceit is worshipped, then her 9 energies, Brahmi, Maheshwari, Kumari, Vaishnavi, Bharaki, Narasimhi, Aindri, Sivaduti, and Chamundi are to be worshipped, along with Rudra and Ganesh. And the hymn that says, Namo Devyaki, Mahadevyaki, I bow to the goddess, should be sung for the great goddess of true wealth. Namastasye, 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 Namo Namaha. The mantras and songs of praise from the 3 episodes. The first episode is Mahakali, the second middle episode is Mahalakshmi, the Uttara Charitra is Mahasaraswati. The mantras and songs of praise from the 3 episodes should be sung for their respective deities. And the puja for the great goddess of true wealth, the great slayer of the great ego, must be conducted specially, because she is the great goddess of true wealth, the great remover of darkness, the spirit of all-pervading knowledge, the controller of all virtues and sins, the great Lord of all the worlds, who worships with devotion the great goddess of true wealth, the destroyer of the great ego, will become the master of the universe. And therefore, worship the supporter of the universe, she who tears apart thought, bestower of grace to devotees. With the offering of various objects that demonstrate respect, ornaments and scented flowers, whole grains, lights, incense, and various dishes of food, with passionately devoted sacrifices. And they will worship with bowing down devotedly and offering water for rinsing the hands and mouth, achman, and fragrant sandal paste, and betel leaves with camphor and mouth-refreshing mints, and nuts with greatly devoted attitude. One should offer all these to the goddess. In front of the goddess on the left side, one should offer worship to the severed head of the great ego. Mahishatwa Makanthira, Inradi Deva Marikwa, Didyastra Taritabupa, Goatahas Swargam Namostute. Get the hell out of here. Go to heaven. Immediately go to heaven, Mr. Ego. I don't need you anymore. Let Kali hold you in her hand. And similarly, in the front right, the lion should be worshipped, the Lord of Dharma, the way of truth to wisdom, Vajra Nakam Strayudaya Mahasinhaya Unpat Swaha. The vehicle of the goddess, maintainer of all that moves and moves not. Wise beings will sing songs of praise to the goddess with one pointed attention. Egron Chitse, Hamlogopasana Kartarahenge, and then with folded hands one should recite the 3 episodes of the Chandi. If it is possible to only recite only one episode, then recite only the middle one, or one should not recite only the first or last of the episodes. Sit down and do as much as you possibly can, for as long as you possibly can, and stay with her, pay attention to her, give her all the things that you possibly can to demonstrate the sense of privilege that we have by being in her presence. And also one should not recite only half an episode. That recitation does not bring food, with one caveat. If you're learning to chant and you're learning slowly, then learn. But if you think you want to change your karma and change your life and change your values, then sing the whole thing. And fold his hands on the top of the head and circumambulate the image and bow down and again pray for forgiveness for any mistakes committed. Aparada sahasrani kriyanterhani shamaya datho yamiti mamakwa shamashwa parameshwari abhakanam najanami visarjanam Pujam Chaiva Najanami Shamyatam Parameshwari. Please forgive me, Ma. I don't know. I don't know how to worship you. I don't know how to invite you. I don't know how to establish you. I don't know how to say goodbye to you. But I'm trying. I get some points for trying, don't I? Not even one? No points? One point. Isn't it kind of hoya? Whatever mantras or songs of praise that are offered to she who tears apart thought, that's the Chandi, should be accompanied by pure oblations to the sacrificial fire, Homkar. After performing the fire ceremony, again worship should be performed in the name of the goddess with a concentrated mind. Then, controlling the mind and the senses, with hands folded, he should bow to the goddess, and seating the ruler of all, she who tears apart thought in his heart. Anekaratva Sanyutam, Nanamanigananvitam, Kartasloramayam Divyam. Asanam pratigriyatam. This is your asan. I'm seating you here in my heart. Yeah, please, this is I reserve seating. Only you can sit in this seat. Will you sit here? Okay. Thank you. Then, seating the ruler of all in his heart, he should meditate upon her presence, and thus meditating, he will become full of her. Whoever will always worship the Supreme Sovereign in this way, with full devotion, will enjoy all the pleasures he contemplates. What else does he contemplate? The greatest pleasure is to have her in my heart and have my head in her hand and to be sitting in the front row center. That's the pleasure. He'll enjoy all the pleasures he contemplates. What else can you contemplate? I just lost my head. And ultimately attain to complete union with the gods. Whoever does not worship the gracious she who tears apart thought regularly, the supreme sovereign, burns to ashes all the merits that have been accrued. And therefore, O king, worship the great Lord of all the worlds according to the system of the scriptures. From this you will attain the highest happiness. Om. So that's the beginning of our altar explanation. And we have, there are many other things that we will discuss. I don't know where they are. I'll have to find them. But, they're in the little, I just want to show you briefly some of the things that we're going to look at. And they are in, what do they call? Let's try. Oh, let's try. Let's see if you can see this. This is the organization of the altar, and here is Mahakali with 10 arms, Mahalakshmi with 18 arms, Mahasaraswati with 8 arms, Mahakali with 4 arms, Mahalakshmi with 4 arms, Mahasaraswati with 4 arms. So Sarvasadya Mahalakshmi, she's the one in the center from which all of this came forth. And then behind Mahakali is Shiva and Durga. Behind Mahalakshmi is Brahma and Saraswati. And behind Saraswati is Vishnu and Lakshmi. And I want to show you one other slide because that's going to give you an idea of where we're going with all of this. This is the map which it indicates where the flowers go and will tell you the meaning of every flower. So this is how the puja sets up. So from these 3 secrets, which tell us how the altar is made, we get to the understanding of how to place the deities on the altar, and how to place the flowers and make the yantra, and how to place the yantra inside, and then how to invite the goddess to sit here. These are classes that are coming in the future. I won't keep you too late now.
Thank you, Sham.
Thank you.
So much.
Om Sam Saraswati Namaha. Namaste.